Man, y'all are like a needy pet, Team Taco, you fake-ass patriots. Always needing tending to all the time because you're always doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. It's like you don't know any better and stuff. And I'm looking at you, I'm like, well, they obviously don't know any better. I need to tend to them. And if I'd have wanted a hedgehog or something, I'd have bought me a damn hedgehog. You know why I didn't get one? Needy, need to be tended to all the time, like having a sugar glider or something like that. I mean, they're weird, intriguing, but annoying. You know, that's the thing, and that's what y'all are. You're weird. I'm intrigued because how could somebody possibly be that dumb all the time? You know, and you're annoying. So look, and things are just going to get worse. And I'm like, I need to get ahead of this right now because y'all are about to start running out of food stamp money out there. And now then you're already angry all the time. And now you're going to be hungry and angry, which means you're going to be hangry. And we don't need none of that hangry action going on. Okay. Things are bad enough as it is. So I'm like, well, I need to tend to them again. Give them some life coaching. You know, this is for free. I'm giving you some socialisms is what I'm doing for you. But look, things are about to get tougher on you because now you ain't just going to be hangry. You're also, your medical cost is going to skyrocket too because you voted for that, because you keep on voting for Republicans and protecting on them. You know, you're protecting on Republicans. They're protecting on pedophiles right now. You know, the guardians of pedophiles, the GOP. That's what you're doing out there while they're screwing you over and everybody else. And so anyway, I just want to kind of give you some ideas on how you can alleviate. Never mind, but you know, you can take some of this stress away from you, okay? For one, here's something you can do for starters. Stop worrying about what other people are doing so much and just worry about your own damn self. If you do that right there is going to take care of 90% of your problem, right there. That anger that you got all the time, it'll just start going away because you're just worried about yourself. You ain't worried about everybody else all the time. Fake outrage, that's what I'm talking about. The fake outrage you create for yourself. Like pretending like you care about cities that you don't live in or never been to, or the people that live in those cities, or the crime that happens in those cities. Stop pretending like you actually care about that. You start losing some of that anger you got going on, okay? That's fake outrage you got. You don't need that. And I know you have to do it because the Donald F. and Trump says it. And you're like, well, if I don't go out there and repeat it, then I'm not going to be the cool kid in my friend circles, you know? And how can I be the cool kid in my friend circles if I don't repeat the same dumb that he does? So I understand where you're coming from there, but you're going to have to start backing away from that stuff if you want to start feeling better, okay? Another thing, too, the food stamps, all right? You're always worried about them people out there committing frauds on them food stamps because my tax dollar goes out there and then them people are out there buying up food that they don't deserve, you know, frauding on it. It's just 1.3% of people that receive those benefits are commit some frauds on it. That's just 1.3%. Hey, look, there's fraud in everything that you try to do. No matter how good it is, somebody out there is going to be committing on some fraud, okay? And that's 1.3%. But the thing is white people actually use 37% of the food stamps. Did you know that? That means that fraud's being committed by white people too, but you seem to just want to blame black people for some reason. Ain't that weird that you would do that? Stop doing that. You'll start feeling better. Yeah, you absolutely will. Be 98% happy for the people that those food stamps are benefiting rather than be 100% angry at the 1.3% that are committing the frauds. See how much better you feel already? It's like magic, but it ain't. And I know it seems like it, you know. I'm not Jesus out here turning a slice of bread into a whole loaf, you know what I mean? I'm just using some common sense is all I'm doing, okay? Now, another thing, too, about them food stamps that you do all the time, them people are out there buying the damn Oreos and the Doritos on them food stamps. They need to be eating more healthy than that. They shouldn't be enjoying their snacks, okay? They should be eating the blandest stuff known to man, and that's all they should be eating. They shouldn't have something that's tasty. That right there is what you do all the time. Why are you worried about that? You're getting the food stamps too, and if you ain't, well, at least 1 in 4 of you are out there in the rural Americas, because statistically that's what's going on out there. 25% of you are on government teat out there. You have to be, because there's no opportunities out there for you, and you keep living out there any damn way, okay? So you've got to be on the government teat, and that's part of what your problem is. You're like, well, if the brown people and the black people wasn't getting something on one of my udders over there, I could have all the udders. You know, that's what your problem is. But anyway, look, stop worrying about what people are eating on their food stamps, all right? It's up to them what they put in their mouth and what comes out of their ass, all right? That's totally up to them, all right? And that reminds me, that's another thing. You're awfully worried about what people put in their ass, not just what comes out of it, what goes in it too. Look, gay people make up 7% of the population. You don't have to worry yourself about 7% of the population. That's them. What they want to do with their body and put in their butts, they can do what they want to with it. It ain't putting it in your butt. Y'all were doing that. Y'all were the ones putting stuff in your butts out there in the rural Americas, and we can tell. You ain't hiding it from us because, look, let me remind you something. There was that No Kings protest, wasn't there? 7 to 8 million people went out there across this country, and guess what they didn't do? Shut down the Grindr servers. They never shut down the Grindr servers, not one single time. They was able to behave themselves so well, they never even crashed the Grindr server. 8 million people, and they didn't crash a Grindr server, and that's supposedly where all the gay people are at. Y'all can't do that. Y'all get more than 100,000 people together. Y'all start crashing the Grindr servers in every city that you're in. The Milwaukee's, y'all was grinding it up there. Y'all was grinding it. Y'all was crashing it while y'all was grinding it. What was going on up there in the Milwaukee's there at the RNC convention, looking for some pole to hole and some hole to pole action up there in them bathroom stalls, And then y'all went over there to that memorial coronation thing for that Erica Kirk lady over there in Arizona. That Grindr server crashed 168 times. My Lord, So my point is you're worried about what people are putting in their butts and stuff and what kind of sex they're having. Y'all need to stop worrying about that because you're doing the same thing, You're morally, though. You're doing it morally than they are. So what I'm saying, stop worrying about what 7% of the population is doing that is openly gay, okay? Stop doing that. You need to worry about why y'all are 93% in the closet. That right there would be something you should concern yourself about. Again, worrying about what you're doing, not other people. See, you're already feeling better. And this is just common sense advice for you right here. Now, I know you're already feeling better right now. Like transgender people, 0.7% of the population. You don't have to worry about 0.7% of the population. Hey, look, if you're out there in white rural America and you notice that your boys are starting to cross-dress and stuff, those are called groypers. They're not even transgendering. They're groypering. You know why they're doing that? Because they've been mentally abused as children, but being forced into the church and saying, you're going to burn in hell for eternity if you don't do everything that I tell you to do. And then you got preachers touching on them and stuff like that. And then you got their daddies out there saying, hey, if you ain't a man, if you don't treat a woman like shit, stuff like that. It's mental abuse, and it drives them away. Their brains get broken. Their hearts get broken. All of a sudden, they're damaged goods. Girls don't want them, so they turn to a groyper. Okay, start dressing like a girl so that some other man can give them some normalcy in their life. They're not even transgender. It's just, like I said, it's mental abuse is what happens to them. So don't worry about the 0.7% of transgendered people. And yeah, I know they still have to go to the bathroom, but you know what they don't do in those bathrooms? Attack people. They don't do it. You know what they're trying to do? Same thing you are. Just get the stuff out of their body they don't want in their body. It's got to come out sometime, And like I've told you before, if you do the mathematicals on that and you're worried about a transgendered person attacking somebody in a bathroom, you can stand outside that bathroom and wait for that, but you'll have to wait for 2 million people to use the bathroom before that would ever happen. And while you were waiting, 200 people got attacked in bathrooms by people that weren't transgender. See what I mean? And you let that happen while you was waiting on a transgender person. So what I'm saying is don't worry about stuff that don't affect you. You do it all the time. That's all you ever do. You know what you should worry about, though? Here's something you should worry about. That big, orange, bloated, syphilis-up, Adderall-riddled idiot that you worship all the time, your orange Jesus, Krasnov, Donald F. and Trump. You should be real worried about what he's doing because that dude, his brain's broken. You didn't notice that? He admitted it the other day on the TVs. He went and got him an MRI done up there at the hospitals, what he went up there and did. It wasn't just no normal checkup. He said he had him an MRI. They don't just schedule those at normal checkups. Is what they do is they shove you in that machine because they want to look inside your body for something. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for something inside your body. That's why they shove you down that tube like they do, So they're in there looking for something. But then he slipped up and he said something else that I ain't seen anybody put the pieces of the puzzle together yet. He decided to take a cognitive test. He said he decided. Hey, he didn't decide to. That was highly recommended by doctors after they shoved him through that tube and seen something in his body, which means that MRI test was looking at his brain bucket. That's what they're looking for. Otherwise, they wouldn't have recommended a cognitive test on the same day. So they're looking in his brain bucket. And the thing is with that is, well, look at his ankles, look at his ankles, look at the bruising on his hands and all that stuff. And look at the way he wandered around over there in Asia lost and they had to guide him around and all. Look at the way he slurs on his words. Look at what he calls the weave that is actually the wandering of the mind. All of this stuff, you know what happens whenever you start cutting off oxygen to the brain? You start getting this thing called vascular dementia. Yeah, that's what starts happening to you. And when you start getting that, they'll put you in MRI machines and make you do cognitive tests. That's what happens, okay? So that's what you need to be worried about, the dude in the White House that's got dementia right now. And y'all was worried about Sleepy Joe because he had a speech impediment. That's all he had. He just had a speech impediment, and he speaks softly. That's all. But hey, this dude right here has been being shoved through MRI machines and being made to take cognitive tests. He went out there and challenged the AOCs and the Jasmine Crockett's too. Hey, look, you don't challenge somebody to a cognitive test. That's not something. That's not a game, and it's not a sport. All right, but it would be fun to watch if you want to go ahead and challenge them. Or a real IQ test. That's what Krasnov should do if he's so confident. But look, anybody can say man, person, woman, camera, TV. I think AOC can do it, and Jasmine Crockett. And AOC asked him if he could draw a clock. But see, that's the kind of stuff he was doing there. A real IQ test, he don't want to challenge them up on that. He should start small, like playing tic-tac-toe. Challenge them to tic-tac-toe, maybe some hangman, work your way up to a game of Uno, then some Scrabble. Do something like that before you start wanting to challenge them to IQ test, because them women are sharp there, Krasnov. So anyway, I think it should be a pay-per-view event. I tell you that. If he wants to challenge these women to mental test, stress test, and mind games, put it on TV. Put it on the pay-per-views. It'll make a killing, all right? But anyway, y'all, look, I was just trying to help you out there, Team Taco. You worry about things that you shouldn't worry about, that don't affect you one way or another. It just makes you angry. And you don't need to be any more angry, because, like I said, you're about to be hangry on top of it all, right? I'm trying to reduce on your stress a little bit. It's unneeded stress that you just put on yourself for no reason other than to hate people. Okay, you don't need to do that, and the world will be a whole lot better off, all right? Inmate Trump.